Well, I highly doubt 25 years ago people would have thought that this would be one of the most interesting cars in BMW Classic stash. And yet, here we are with the original time-bending and class-defining E53 BMW X5, a car that created a whole new genre and set the foundations of newer Klasse models to come. My name is Mike, you're watching BMW's YouTube channel, and come follow me as we talk about the new kid on the block that helped to define the ultimate driving machine in the early 2000s. First things first though, we should probably unpack some of the misconceptions surrounding the X5, because even though it came out in 1999, it's still a multi-layered product today, and it's something BMW were mindful of when launching this first-gen E53 X5, because they didn't call it an SUV, they called it an SAV, a sports activity vehicle. Despite its larger proportions, the idea was that this should still be a dynamically good car, and it should provide sheer driving pleasure. And it did so by introducing a new construction method into the mix. You see, traditionally, SUVs were made on a body-on-frame method of construction. You may have heard of it before, whereas with this, it was modern, it was light, it was a monocoque chassis. The X5 was a first in its class. In fact, the whole class was pretty much a new thing. The idea that you could add luxury to an SUV, which would otherwise traditionally be a Spartan or a pickup truck-based car, was quite a new thing in the mass market segment. At first, the press wasn't convinced, but the customers were. The X5 sold. It sold really well. The more eagle-eyed amongst you would have probably noticed a defining characteristic of the X5. It is tall. It is a big car. It's basically the same height as me. The notion that height and luxury have to be big makes sense, but the idea that that can't come with driving dynamics doesn't, and BMW were aware of that. To ensure this car drove well, it then needed a big engine, so these first-gen X5s came with a V8. This one here having a 4.4-litre engine, which gave it 286 brake horsepower, propelling the car to 60 in around 7 seconds, topping out at 143 miles an hour. That is very quick for an SUV, for a car this size. Thing is though, BMW also went a step further with these cars. They gave them a 4.6 and a 4.8-litre V8. BMW, I don't know if they realised it at the time, but they were creating a new genre of an SUV. They were creating the sports SAV. Admittedly, this is the part of the film that I've been looking forward to the most, because I get to sit in this thing and it is incredibly luxurious. It feels like a bit of a vanity project actually sitting here. Everything is so nice and comfortable in the first gen X5. The turn of the 90s brought with it these incredible materials and interesting technology. I specifically like this little 4x3 screen here, which houses a very early example of a satellite navigation system. But BMW knew that this comfort, this heightened driving position, it needed something more for their customers. So as standard, every single X5 came with a very intelligent X-Drive four-wheel drive system, giving their customers the reassurance they needed to be able to cross a muddy field if they needed to take their dog for a walk or their kid to sports practice. So then, the X5 gave us something extra in terms of defining what sheer driving pleasure really means. It gave us something extra to that ultimate driving machine slogan that BMW promised us. But it did have one more trick up its sleeve, you see, because what the X5 did is it introduced a brand new model to the family, the X range of products. If it was never for this original X5, we would have never had the X3, the X2, the X1, and all the rest of the X family. In the end, the X5 sold really well, selling 2 million units over its 7-year-long production cycle. The teachings of this car were going to carry forward into the Neue Klasse of tomorrow, and it's all because of this original X5. Which makes me wonder, what's your favorite thing about this X5? Let me know down in the comments below. Until then, thank you so much for your attention and for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next film. If you've enjoyed my BMW Classic deep dive, perhaps you'll enjoy the other videos I've made here during my time at the BMW Classic facility. You can find those on this hand side of your screen. And as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.